On today's episode of Pathmonk Presents, I've got a very special guest with me joining today. Please welcome Jose. And for all of you who don't know, he is the marketing and sales director at Rentrax software. So this company, they are passionate about simplifying the rental management process for businesses of all sizes. Jose, thank you so much for joining us today. I'm really excited to learn more about your growth story, who you are as a leader, and overall what you and your folks are doing at Rentrax overall. So thank you again for joining us.
Yeah, thanks so much for the invitation. I'm happy to be here.
We're happy to have you. So for all of our listeners out there, tell us in your own words, what is Rentrax all about? Give us an insight.
So Rentrax is software that helps all kind of rental businesses to manage better everything that happens in a rental business, right? It's related with inventory, bookings, having the reminders for customers to pick up, drop off, deliveries. So what it does is that it helps companies to move out of pen and paper and having a better process. So they will do faster rental, right? So some of our customers have specific seasons, right? So if you're going to go into skiing season, they could get very busy. You have long lineups. So having a process that is going to give all of your customers the skis and the helmet or whatever they need in the fastest possible way and as smooth as it can be, it's going to help the business just perform better. So that's basically what we do.
Awesome. Thanks for giving me an insight as to the problem that you solve for your clients and ultimately what you guys do. So now in terms of your clients, how do they typically find you? What would you say is your top client acquisition channel? Is it word of mouth? Is it referrals? Is it partnerships? Or is it a mix of a lot of things currently?
So we're doing a great effort with SEO. So we create a lot of content and we try to keep our content very interesting and very relevant for our customers. So I would tell you that most of our customers find us just doing their inbound research, right? They're just looking for options. A lot of them come to us thanks to other websites that talk about us. So we're partnered with some payment processors such as Square. So they're looking for something that already uses Square, and that's how they come to us. So basically, it's just by giving them as much information as possible regarding the answers to the problems they have.
Amazing. That's really great. So now that we've discussed how your clients typically find you, I want to talk about the website. So essentially, what would you say are the major strengths of your company's website? And then where are there opportunities for room for improvement as well?
Okay, so I think that the strengths are that the website gives the customer the information they need to know, right? So I love this book by Marcus Sheridan that is called They Ask You Answer. And they talk about what are the 5 most common topics that customers ask and that by some reason companies don't want to talk about, right? So pricing, pros and cons of your own software or your own product, the best of or rankings, leads, and references, right? So my efforts in here, I've been here for only a month and a half, is to have all those information ready, right, for the customers. So we do have some of them. So it's very common that software share like their pricing. So that's not like a great difference, but I will invite any other people in the audience that have a business. Don't be afraid to talk about prices. It's the first thing anyone is going to ask about a product is how much is this, right? And companies usually are afraid of talking about that because they think, 1, they might scare the customer, or 2, my competitors will know how much I charge. So big news for you. Number 1, if you are going to scare a customer, it's going to be afraid whenever they find out. So the sooner the better, right? It's not like if your product costs $1,000 and then a customer doesn't have that amount of money and they don't know. It's not like they're gonna just magically have that money from 1 minute to another, right? So the sooner the better. And number 2, guess what? Your competitors already know how much you charge. How do I know that they know? Because I know that you know what they are charging. Because you also do your research or you just do mystery shoppers. So don't worry about it. They're going to know anyway. So we're in a moment in marketing and digital marketing where the more transparent we are, the more clear we are for our customers, the better. So sorry for just the bumble, but coming back to your question, having that information on our website is a great thing, right? Like giving them all the information they need. And the thing that one metric that shows that we're doing a nice job is that most of our visits are organic, right? So we're providing enough answers. Now for improvement, I think there are more answers that we need to answer, more questions we need to answer, sorry. So creating more content, making them easily understand how to become a customer, more tutorials, more videos. I think that we're in an era that the more we tell the customer how to solve their problems by themselves, the better, right? And people don't want to read. Google loves SEO, companies love SEO, ChatGPT loves content, but video is what people like, right? I mean, chances are that you're going to prefer watching a 2-minute video on YouTube about anything than reading a blog post that is 5 minutes. So yeah, video would be my next step.
Thanks for giving us some insights on what you want to improve on the website. But the one thing I really love that you said, and capitalizing on being transparent, that goes a really long way, because when you're transparent with the customer right up front or the prospect, you're able to build that relationship with them and then be able to not only help them throughout like the integration with the product, but also being able to help them through other roadblocks they may have coming down the way, like right off the bat. So I agree with you that transparency is a big thing, and just not being afraid of telling them this is the price, this is how much it's going to be, and then being able to work through what the steps that need to happen in order to be able to build that trust with them. So I think I agree with you.
And also talking about the downside of your product is going to help customers understand if you're a good fit for them.
Yes.
So exactly. Businesses, especially startups, and I also founded a digital agency back in Mexico many years ago. I know that at the beginning you just want to sell to anyone who is willing to pay you, right? Yeah, but exactly. To be honest, if you find out that that's not a good fit for you, or you're not a good fit for them, it's better for you to let them know, right? So that is why talking about the downside of your product, like we cannot do this, we're expensive for companies that want this, or we do not have these features. It's pretty good, because that way the customer is gonna, like, they're gonna know that they're not qualified for you, and they're gonna go away. And you're not scaring them, you're just letting them know in advance that you're not a good fit for them. And that is good, because you're not going to waste your sales team time. You're not going to waste your onboarding process team, or if that's a software or whatever you're selling. So you're just going to waste money and time in a customer that is going to be a bad fit. And even if they buy your product, they're not going to be happy, and they're going to talk bad about you. And bad reputation is the worst advertising ever. So just be clear and open, and that's okay. It's going to be fine. You're going to be a great fit for some of them. You're not going to be a great fit for all of them.
Yeah, exactly. And you summarize that up perfectly as well for anyone who is, currently within a position very similar, or getting into within sales and learning how to discuss products or pitch. And, again, understanding the needs of the customer, being transparent, like, hey, if we're a great fit for you or we're not. And these are skills that are really necessary as well within not only this role, but other roles. So thanks for opening that as well. So now that we've discussed this, I want to talk about you as a leader. So tell me, within your experience and with working in this industry, what are some things that you have learned along the way? And ultimately, what does an average day look like for you?
So what I've learned is that you have to care about your teammates, about your employees. I know that everyone says that business is not a family, and a lot of companies say we're like family, we have a great culture. I think we have to be very smart about what that means, right? You want people to feel comfortable working. You're going to be I spend more time with people at my job than with my wife, right? So I better get along with them, and I better be a good person for them, and I better get the best out of them. So that's the part, right? And I think we should also do that in our personal life, right? I read a quote once that says that not demanding the best of your partner, and I mean as a couple, as a marriage, whatever, not demanding the best out of them is not caring enough. because you want them to be the best person they can be, right? So if it's your son, if it's your brother, if it's your friend, if it's your employee, you have to take the best out of them. But at the same time, you need to care. So as a leader, your job is to find the perfect mix between those two things, and also understanding that there are different kind of leaderships, right? I remember one coach telling me that sometimes there are leaders that are too tough, right? Do this, do that. And people think those are bad leaders, and it's not true. That's the kind of leader you need in a fire. If you're in a fire in a building, you don't want someone to come to you and say, hey, what do you think would be the best way to get out of here and save your life? You want someone to say, shut up, run that way. Okay, so there are different kinds of leaderships in different circumstances. And the more like skills you develop to be that leader in different moments, the better, right? So that would be one. The other one would be, it is important to know how to deal with the new generation, right? So millennials, right? Especially in software, in tech, there are a lot of millennials. They're a great generation. They care a lot. They are passionate, but at the same time, they're too sensitive, right? So you need to coach them in a way that you let them know that you care and that what they think is valid, but that sometimes they need to perform or to be more professional in some things, right? Like I know that some people, and this is because I have also worked as a teacher, so I know students and I know that generation a lot, right? So getting them to understand that it's rainy, so I feel blue, so I don't want to work today, is not valid, right? Or if you want to be valid, it could be valid if we have some KPIs and you're hitting your goals, right? If you're giving the results I need, I don't care if you did that crying in your bed or in the middle of a party or in Shanghai, I don't care, just hit the numbers, right? But on the other hand, the older generation, right? So my dad and some of the bosses that I have had, they care about, I want them to be in the office all day long. And for me, if they're in the office all day long and they don't hit the numbers and you don't give them a clear path and they don't do what they are supposed to, I don't care if they're in church the entire day, right? So that's a mix that you also need to understand. How do I keep them motivated so that they hit the numbers? And if in order to hit the numbers or the task they need to do, they have to come to the office, then they have to come to the office. If someone else to hit the numbers or to hit the KPIs, they need to work from their couch in their living room with a PlayStation, so be it. But don't forget that you're in this company because you need to deliver some things, right? So I think that's something that we need to change. And the last part of your question, what is my day-to-day, is very, very busy. I am a father of 4 kids. I'm a newcomer in Canada. I have been living here for 2 years. I have my job and I have other projects. I help friends. I do a lot. I love teaching. I do counseling. So it's very, very busy. So what I do is that I usually try, so very early in the morning or last thing at night, I take a look at my agenda and I try to just understand what I need to do to have everything that I have booked. And I am pretty strict with my agenda and my time, because that's the only way that I know that I can fit everything that I need to get going. So that's like for management, for time management, and just like what I usually do, we use some software for automation and marketing and sales. So I usually jump in and I just try to keep track of what we're doing, what kind of campaigns are performing, if we're getting new leads, if they're properly addressed to the salesman that is going to do the sale for them, if they have any meetings. If I'm going to have a meeting with a customer, I try to learn as much as I can from that customer before I go to the meeting. So I go to the website, I go to LinkedIn, I do a little stalking, right? And there are some cool tools out there that you can also use to understand a little bit more about your customers. And that way, when we're doing a demo or we're having a sales meeting, that way you are going to actually help them and help the business rather than just sell a tool, right? Because to be honest, there are a lot of softwares out there We're going to be a great solution for, as I said, for a lot of customers. We're not going to be a great solution for other customers. But here's the secret. We're all in the same industry. We're in the trust industry. If you get people to trust you, they will want to partner with you, which means a sale. But if they don't trust you, it doesn't matter if your software or if your product or your service is the best. They will not buy it. They will not care.
Yeah, no, exactly. And I think too, where you summed it up, where, for millennials that are coming into the workforce, where, expressing like there has to be a balance here, where if you're able to meet your goals, then, whether it's in the office or at home, but you got to be able to meet your goals. And then also too, adding on to that, where just not being afraid of, making mistakes and pushing the boundaries when you're in the role. Learn how to be successful. Learn to lean on your managers or directors. They're there for a reason, to be able to help you to reach these goals. I feel like there's really no excuse not to reach your goals. If you feel there's a blocker, you've got your team for a reason to help you. And in terms of everything that you do, wow, you are very busy, and I applaud you. And I think it's great with having the background in education, because you know how to, not only work with millennials, but also with just how to be charismatic and work with all different types of personalities and people from all backgrounds. So I think that's really great. So I applaud you for being able to manage all of that.
Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So now we're at the end of our interview today, and I want to thank you so much for joining us on Pathmonk Presents. But I also want to give you the last word. If anyone were to forget about everything we've talked about in your interview today, what is the one thing you want to remember about your company overall?
I would say that Rentrax is a software that helps companies manage better their business, right? So that's pretty cool. But the bottom line, what people need to remember is that the more tools you have to deliver a great customer experience, the better, right? If it's software, if it's training for your employees, if it's a hiring process, if it's like having the best decor around your office, that's great, right? You just have to care about your customers. And what Rentrax does for rental businesses is giving you a smooth management tool to just have everything ready for you to just deliver the products and have a clear inventory and a clear booking process, and then have happy customers. And that's it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for joining us today, and for also educating me on what you guys do overall and how it's a really niche market. So thank you so much.